welcome to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Craig Candage.
And this week, we went downtown Nashville on Rosa Parks and went to a little place called the Red Phone Booth.
I've been trying to get into this place for 2 years. It's a public...
Finally happened.
Yes, and it was worth it. Public establishment that you need the code to get into. So you can't just walk in. You do need to have talked to somebody prior to going in.
Right. So it's basically the whole setup is that it's like a speakeasy, right? So back in the Prohibition-era, obviously this whole speakeasy thing. So that's what the whole code thing is sort of based off of. So they set up just like it's called a red phone booth on the side of the street,
like the old type that you find in like London.
Right. So you walk up. You have to know where it is. There's no like real signs out there other than the phone booth itself. And like you said, somebody's got to give you the code. If you're not a member, it is technically still a public establishment, so It's not a completely private thing where you don't have to be a member. A member can give you the number. So, and that's what happened here with us. So, we didn't exactly get a number. It's just.
We did, and I called a buddy of mine who called a buddy of his, and we had a phone call made for us. And when we got there, we couldn't get in. We waited a little bit.
Well, they were having an issue with their phone at the time too, and it says it right on there. Where normally you would just be able to call and like get a hold of somebody, and we could tell them what the situation was. Instead, we just banged on the door for about 5 minutes until they got fed up with us and came and asked what was going on. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you know that guy. It's fine. Come on in." So,
which is funny because he goes, "Do you typically knock at a public establishment?"
Well, this isn't typical, but yeah. So a really cool place. Right off the bat, we'll just say, this isn't like an original or anything. It's located. It's got a couple other different locations as well. So
they have them in other states.
Yeah, downtown Atlanta. They've got one in Buckhead. One's in Miami, and then I think they have one in Dallas in the Colony.
And your membership allows you to go into all of those.
Yes, and we'll kind of get into memberships at the very end, but.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got in. First thing to note for everybody that hasn't been there before, it does have a dress code. Mm-hmm. So you have to be dressed appropriately to get inside.
Collared shirt or a suit jacket for men. Yep. And women, I think it's more of like
it just says like no athletic wear or anything. Just
no rips in your clothes, jeans, things like that.
So you walk in and it's set up exactly like a 1920s speakeasy, and it's a really, really cool looking place when you get inside. So set up kind of like more of like a cigar bar type.
It is. I mean, speakeasies back in the day were more, like the whiskeys and the cigars and things like that. So they have a giant humidor in the back that you could go buy sticks or boxes of cigars. Part of the membership also, they have certain levels. Some of the levels are that you get your own personal humidor locker with your nameplate on it, things like that, where you can keep your cigars or your bottles or anything like that.
Right.
And they're there every time you go back.
Nice.
Yeah.
So so you go in and we sat down at the bar. It wasn't very busy. So what day was it? When did we go? So Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So we go to Wednesday night at like 5 o'clock, like right when they open. There was only like maybe 10 people in there at the time, which was fine. Sat down at the bar. Bartender was awesome the entire time. They hand you the the red phone booth manual if you've never been before. So it's
the policy book.
Yeah. So they make you read the rules of the establishment, which some are actually rules, some are just sort of meant to be funny and things like that. So.
I got a pretty good laugh out of it.
Yeah, it was funny. So read that, and then you get into the very small and limited food menu. There's not a lot offered. It's like maybe
I think you got like
4 different types of
maybe
food,
4 or 5 different items and pizza,
and then pizzas. Yeah. So you have that, and then you have a very extensive drink menu. So I think the main thing is they sort of pride themselves on like craft cocktails is what they call them. So they try and keep them like original, and very thought out
drink menu for sure. I mean, these are a lot of whiskey, bourbon drinks.
Yes.
But very, very thought out with the ingredients, all high-end ingredients in different liqueurs.
Right. Yeah, you're not getting your typical well drinks here. So you're not going to find those well labels.
And a limited beer selection as well.
Yeah. So so we sat down, looked the menu over. What did you end up getting a drink?
I got a Bullet Rye on the rocks, and when you order a drink on the rocks, they give you an option. You can get just small ice cubes, or they have this giant block of ice sitting out there that they just chisel off a big brick and throw it in there. I went with that option, and it was
of course.
I had multiple drinks, and the ice never even came close to melting.
Right. And then so I went with the specialty drink. It was called the Horse's Neck, and basically it was it's a whiskey and ginger ale is what it is. They gave with this one it's Buffalo Trace bourbon, and then they have their own like nicer ginger ale. It's not like your Schweppes or something like that.
I think they had three different options of ginger.
Well,
mixers.
so they had two.
They had a ginger beer.
Well, they had the ginger beer,
ale.
and ginger beer, ginger ale, and then they had the tonic water bottles that were right in front of us. But so that's basically what it was. It's basically just a whiskey and ginger ale drink. Presentation was great. Looked
10
really
10.
good. Yep. So we did that, had those drinks, and then ordered a little bit of food. So what'd you grab off the menu?
I got meatball sliders. So I'm an Italian boy from the Northeast, and these meatballs held up.
Nice.
Yeah, they were actually, you could tell they were, made in-house.
Yep.
Good seasoning in them. They weren't too hard, so they didn't use too many breadcrumbs. Like, it was a good meatball. A little bit of sauce, a lot of cheese, and a really good bread that was on it. And
nice.
they were little sliders.
So how many did you get? What was it, like three?
Three.
Yeah. I mean, they looked fantastic.
I had this for dinner, and I was pretty much full getting into the third one.
Yep. I went with one of their pizzas. So it's kind of funny. I'm like glancing through the menu, and I saw the pizza, and I'm a big cheese guy, like different kinds of cheese and everything. And I saw they had the 4-cheese pizza, and that immediately got me. I was like, yeah, I'm in 4-cheese pizza. So order it, and they're small personal pizzas.
What do you think that was, like 10-inch?
Yeah, it's probably about 10.
That's what it looked like.
Something like that. So, it came, he puts it in front of me, and we both realized at the exact same time that it's a white pizza. And so I'm going to be honest, not usually a fan of white pizza.
Same.
I'm a very heavy sauce guy. So if I've been to a place that has decent pizza but they don't put a lot of sauce on, I typically start ordering extra sauce because I love sauce.
Same. I'd rather have it be too saucy and like soggy than dry.
Now, with that being said, I tried this pizza, and the first bite, I was like, this is the best pizza I have ever had.
Yeah, you did. And I did not expect that.
No, I didn't either. Not at all. But, I mean, so the cheeses, I mean, they had your mozzarella, and then the thing that I think that kind of made this a little bit different, I've never had a 4-cheese with goat on it before. Have you?
No, I have. I've never had goat cheese, I don't think, on pizza.
No, I don't think I have either.
That was, Chris let me try a little bit. It was actually a pretty good sized pizza, so we couldn't eat the whole thing. But it just had a flavor that when you take a bite of pizza, you're like, I've never had this before.
Yeah, you said the same thing. You took one bite, and you're like, that's outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it only takes the one bite.
We were trying to guess the cheeses in it, and the strong cheese is the goat cheese.
Yes.
And it really makes that pizza. And it's like a brick oven type pizza.
Yeah, it seemed like I don't know if it really was. It kind of presents that way. I don't know that it was actually brick oven, but yeah, it was a very, very good pizza.
I would buy a membership there, so I could go anytime I wanted
and have that pizza
just to have the pizza.
So the other thing that I'll say too, right, is like whenever you have something cheese heavy. Okay, at least for me, when I have something that's really cheese heavy, like after you get done eating it, and like for the next 3 days, you feel like garbage, right? Like it's super heavy.
You're like
pizza.
Bloated for 3 days.
Yeah, and like you feel miserable. I felt none of that, and I had 4 out of the 6 slices of pizza. I went home last night, and I was like, I feel fine. Like, I mean, you're normal full after a meal, but
did you save room for ice cream?
I did, yeah. I came home and I polished off the rest of my son's birthday cake, ice cream cake. So, but yeah, so great pizza, 4 cheese, and it wasn't heavy either. So tasted amazing. cooked perfect, and was not a heavy cheese. So like felt great afterwards. I could have stayed there drinking, and that's obviously what they want. So
Yeah.
so I mean, to have those types of drinks and then to have that type of pizza and to be able to eat that and then continue to drink, obviously, is what they want you to do.
Right.
And that would have been accomplished if we had more time. But so yeah, food was great. I ordered another drink. I think you just got a second round of the same thing.
I got a bullet rye again on the rocks. Yeah.
So I left it up to the bartender, right? They have a ton of like really good whiskey, like specialty drinks. And again, like from past episodes, I'm a big whiskey guy, especially, we just went to the Jack Daniel's distillery, did the whiskey tour. So a lot of this stuff is whiskey based apparently. So like whiskey and a lot of good choices, I made him decide.
Almost too. Yeah, you put all the pressure on him.
I did.
And I said it to him, and he's like, no. He did pick him a little bit of a girly drink.
He did. So that was a little bit strange. So now if I wouldn't have seen the drink and I would have tried it, it was okay.
Did it taste girly, or was it just?
It did.
And when I say girly, it was pink. That's why I say girly.
Yeah, it ended up coming out in like a smaller, almost like margarita glass. Yep. And then and it was a pink whiskey drink, which I hadn't seen before. And whatever. I told the guy to pick something. He picked something. He was also confused a little bit, I think, when he was making it.
I think there's so many choices there that he was probably thinking, what haven't I made for a while, or because
that's what
as a bartender he makes the same thing over and over and over. Probably want to try something different too.
And I mean, if you go online and you see like it's not a full cocktail menu that they have on there. I think they have like some of the top ones that they have in all the places.
Right.
This one, I think, what do you call it? The paper plane.
Paper plane.
So I tried to look it up afterwards and I couldn't find it. So it wasn't on there. So I don't know exactly what's in it. But taste wise, I thought it was okay.
Do you know what it was mixed with?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't watching.
Just curious what gave it the pink.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
and not being on the menu, we couldn't tell.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was good. It wasn't, that one wasn't great. The first one I thought was really good. So
I was impressed with the look of the first one.
Yeah, the look was really cool.
Yeah.
The presentation on it was outstanding. So
yeah.
But yeah, so those are the only two drinks that we had. We had the pizzas, and then I think you became a member last night.
I did become a member.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
pretty excited about that.
So yeah, as far as the memberships go, right? Like, we're not going to get into the pricing. Feel free to go to their website, and it's all listed there. But
it's affordable.
Yeah, it's definitely affordable. I mean, they have different levels. How involved you want to get into the memberships and everything. They have like a corporate level. It's like the executive level or something like that, where it's like that's the highest level that you could get, and you get everything that you could imagine.
You have multiple members with
basically
codes and lockers and different things like that.
Right. I mean, and basically the more you pay, the more privileges you get, just like with everything. So you got the lowest privileged one. But you get the code, and you get to go in whenever you want, and that's really all you need.
You get a little bit special treatment as well. You get as far as like you could set up a reservation at a table. They have really nice plush couches.
Yep, they do.
That's part of it. You can set up a reservation up to 6 sitting there if you've got a business meeting or you got friends and you want to hang out.
And to be honest, perfect place for business.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So
it's quiet, but there's stuff going on, so it's not too quiet.
Exactly. It is. It's the perfect business like location to go to. You go like you have some sort of a later in the evening like sort of business deal. You want to bring somebody by. It's a perfect place to do that. So the other thing too is, I mean, I'm not a cigar smoker.
I smoke on occasion. I used to like them a lot more. As I've gotten older, I've gone off them a little bit.
Right. So for anybody that doesn't smoke cigars like me, it's still a really cool place to go. And like, if you're worried about the cigar smell and that being overwhelming, it's really not. They do a really good job with the air systems in there.
They've got kind of smoke eaters all over the place.
Yeah.
And it just, you get like a rich mahogany smell in there.
Okay. All right.
But Ron, you do have like that type of smell. It almost is like a like almost a leather smell or something like that.
Sure.
That's what I kind of smelled.
Yeah, you pick up more of the before it's smoked cigar smell.
Yeah, like the tobacco leather, like that kind of smell, but not.
And there
smoke.
were a couple of people that were smoking in there while we were in there, and I really didn't pick up on it that much. Like, it was not overwhelming at all. I mean, I don't mind the smell of cigars anyway, but still, like, it wasn't overwhelming. So if you're somebody that really doesn't like it, yeah, I still would try it out.
If I'm not smoking, I hate it. I just don't like it, being around me, especially when I'm eating or anything like that. And we sat there and ate, and I didn't even realize there was a guy behind us smoking a cigar the whole time.
Yep, absolutely. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, it was an outstanding place to go. I was pumped that we got to go there.
It's really nice to be able to be downtown and not be shoulder to shoulder with people that don't, just, I guess, tourists and things like that.
Sure.
You could go into a place and kind of have a conversation with somebody, but still be downtown.
It's definitely going to be more of a local-oriented place and bar. So, but yeah, I think that, I mean, I got the feeling that, yeah, it's definitely more of like, we'll head there after work, or you bring like business people there and things like that. But outstanding service. The food was great. Drinks were great. I've got nothing bad to say about this place.
I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the same boat. I'll go back as soon as you do, since you have the code now.
Yeah.
So, anything else you have to add on that?
No, it's I'd been trying to get in for a couple of years. Finally getting in yesterday and being able to talk to them. I was able to talk to the manager, Josh, and get that application in, talk to him, and get in. Yeah,
they were great about the whole deal. Like, when you were talking to the bartender and told him that you've been trying to get in for a while, and he seemed kind of, like, concerned that, that you hadn't been able to do it yet. He called the manager right over. Manager was awesome, gave you the application. I think the whole thing was done, in like 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we cashed out, and the membership fee was on there. Right. And I was part of the bill. I guess I'm a member.
Yeah. You're in. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have on the red phone booth. Anything else for you?
No, like I said, I can't wait to go back. And great establishment. If anyone is local and wants to definitely check it out and take a look, hit us up, and we'll meet you down there for a drink.
And so the last thing that I'm going to say before we sign off here is, for anybody that's listening, I had teased a couple weeks ago that we're going to do a special bachelor party episode. So obviously Nashville, highly known for its bachelorette parties, things like that.
Number one location in the United States for bachelorette parties.
Yes. And so I have a group of friends coming into town. My best friend Joe is going to be getting married in about a month and a half.
Don't do it, Joe.
And so we're doing the bachelor party down here. Everybody's going to be coming into town. And that will be our next episode. So everybody that's listening today, on the first day that this episode comes out, 1 week from today, we'll be doing the special bachelor party episode. And we're hoping, this isn't a definite yet. We're trying to work out the kinks, but we're hoping that'll be our first actual video podcast as well. That'll be available.
And with a live guest.
Yes, yeah, we should have a live guest. We should have some interviews and things like that. So it's going to be set up a lot different than the past few episodes that we've done. So we're definitely excited for a number of reasons. I'm excited for the bachelor party to begin with, but it'll be cool to do something a little bit different on the podcast itself. So
I got some friends coming down for a bachelor party as well. Actually, they're doing a Jack and Jill. Guys and girls.
Oh, yeah.
The girls will do their thing, guys will do their thing, and then meet up another day together. And it'll be good doing this to kind of see, like, how it goes and the ins and outs.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, I mean, and that's the idea, right, of this whole thing, is to give everybody an idea of, like, what's going on down here. And if you've never been, these are the types of things that you can find and what to do and stuff like that. So, but, yeah, look for that next week with the bachelor party episode. But that's it for me. You got anything?
I'm done.
All right. Well, thanks for listening again, and we will talk to you next week. Download our episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast. I'm at The Nashville Realtor, and Craig is at Real Estate Rockstar.